FPL Game Week 11 is at the halfway stage and your old pal FPL Nightmare, he once again made those bold calls. He made those brash calls. Yes, I made those big balls calls. But on this bitterly cold evening in the north of England, it feels like hell must have frozen over because your pal and Nightmare, maybe I've just called them right. And this week maybe is the week, the game week that my season turns on its head. Yes, I have made some bad decisions this season, there is no denying that. One of which might be coming out to do a walking video in the dead of night. Who knows? But I've found some street lights and maybe the background will be a bit interesting. But what's even more interesting is the fact that all week I've been on the pubcast, I've been on the Twitter, I've been on the Blue Sky, I've been on my own video, and I was telling anyone who'd listen to back Newcastle this week, to back against Haaland, because the Man City juggernaut was going to come to a crashing stop in the northeast of England. And what has happened? What has happened? My beloved Newcastle have done them over. Come on. And Harvey Barnes, I got some stick on the pubcast about Harvey Barnes as well. They were all like, oh, Estevao this, Estevao that. I said, Estevao, he's not even as good as Harvey Barnes. And they laughed at me. They laughed at me so much that I thought I'm missing a trick here. On Greyhead's captaincy game, I'll go with Estevao. But lo and behold, what happens? Harvey Barnes gets the 2 goals, and of course I don't have him in my team. Yes, I got rid of him after a few game weeks back because of switching round to the double Newcastle defence, which has not paid off as of yet. But the save points from Nick Pope were very good. But that's not what Game Week 12 is all about. It's not just about Newcastle, but it is about backing against that Haaland captaincy. And we can't say it's a success yet, because the way my season has gone, my captain still to play on Monday night, Bruno Fernandes. My captain could well get sent off. It's happened before. We have been here before, where I have gone against a popular player on the Saturday night. And this is in storytelling, this is almost like a Chekhov's gun. I am repeating the narrative. I have laid the foundations by mentioning Newcastle, because if you remember back to Game Week 2, I didn't captain the Arsenal players. Everyone went Gyökeres or Saka. Some stuck with Mo Salah, and I backed against them all. I went for Anthony Gordon on the Monday night game, the big evening game on the Monday night. I thought Anthony Gordon against Liverpool, this is the one. This is the one. And then what happened? He had 3 glorious chances within about 30 seconds, and then he got sent off. And that dropped me to 9.8 million in the rankings, and my season it's very, very hard to recover from that. And I'm fighting. I am fighting with everything I've got. And this week I invoked those FPL gods. I went for the unfinished business. I thought, this is the week. I am going to back my beloved Newcastle again. Not for captaincy, although Harvey Barnes would have been a nice one. Not for captaincy. I backed them to deny the Haaland captaincy. I backed my Newcastle boys to resurrect my season by opening the door. And it's only Saturday night. There's still 2 more days until my captain takes the field. But I have got history for this. Last season, everyone went Haaland in Game Week 29. And I went for Bruno Fernandes. And I've done it again. I've gone for Bruno Fernandes. And once again, we're here on a Saturday night. And I've got a chance with the captain. I've got a chance to get up these rankings with my captain on a Monday night against a Scouse team at home to the Scousers. But I'm not just relying on Bruno Fernandes. I've still got Brian Mbeumo as well. And you know, it was a very tough call to go decide which of those 2 to captain. I knew I was going for the Man United man. I did briefly consider Antoine Semenyo. I thought, well, because he's a doubt, he's just not worth the risk. So, thus it has proven. I did very briefly consider Daniel Munoz, which, you know, everybody says after they get the big haul, oh, I thought about him. I genuinely did, but Trig made the point he'd be captaining a defender away from home against a new manager. And I thought, sometimes I have these bright ideas, but sometimes it's best to just listen to the veterans, the people that have been there and done it. And, you know, I'm happy with the decision. Bruno Fernandes has been a very profitable player for me in the past. And now he has the chance to get me up those rankings. And it could have been even better. I mean, we talk about Munoz. Like, last week, I was derided for bringing him in. Why are you taking a hit? Why are you taking these hits? Well, one of the hits was Pedro Porro to Daniel Munoz. And I've got 20 points off him since. 20 massive points. And, like, you can laugh because it doesn't work out immediately, although Munoz did break even. So all of those points from Munoz are pure profit. Pure profit. 14 pure profit points. And that is a nice feeling. I'm starting to feel a little bit vindicated. I've been mocked, and rightly so, because I have not had a good season. I have made a bit of a tit of myself. But Daniel Munoz, when that goal went in, and of course I took another hit today. The hit today, well, I mean, it could have been spectacular. You know, I took out Gabriel, I brought in Mukiele, and he was a few minutes away from an 8-pointer. Like, that would have been beautiful. And then I took out Mark Zhu, Guiu. I don't know how to pronounce his name. If you watched my video the other day, I must have pronounced it about 7 different ways. Guiu. Who knows? Mark Gui, who knows? I took him out. Yeah, he got the assist, but it doesn't matter because he would never have played for me anyway. But I brought in Igor Thiago. You swap the letters of Thiago around, what do you get? Hi, GOAT. But he almost was the GOAT hit signing. Except, of course, he missed that second penalty. And, like, that's 3 penalties. 3 penalties in a game week and a half that I have missed. My players have missed. And the Semenyo one didn't matter because everyone has him. And the Haaland one last week doesn't matter because everyone has him. Oh, it would have been nice if that was today. It would have been nice if Pope had saved from him today. But Thiago's, that was a 9-point swing, you know, on one kick of a football. And I do think these penalties are a bit... See, everyone loves getting penalty takers in FPL. I hate it. I do not like it when my players have penalties. Because more often than not, it seems to be the sting in the tail. And, like... Yes, Voltemada, we got his beautiful penalty a few game weeks ago, and that was lovely. What a penalty that was. Thiago's first one, he got it in, but it's cause for concern. I do not like these rolled penalties. Like, you've got a free shot from 12 yards. Why are you not just leathering that football? I do not know. We've got the person coming with the dog at you. So it's frustrating. Thiago, he rolled it in, the first one, and it was not a good penalty. And then he got the second one, and your man Janelt held the ball. Evening. Hello, pup. Yeah, it's all right. Your man Janelt held the ball, and I'm thinking to myself, I saw Thiago in the background. There was no doubt Thiago was going to take it. I'm thinking, just let Janelt take it. You've got your 6 points and whatever bonus. We'll get out of Dodge with that. Anymore, we're pushing our luck. And what happened, he took it, and I thought, well, if you're taking it, take it differently. Just, you've rolled in the first one. Whatever you do, just put some leather behind the ball. Give it a clout. And he rolled it even softer straight into Verbruggen's arms. The exact same place. It's like frustrating. 9 points on one kick. But it's all right because we've still broken even on that hit. And now we have Thiago up front. Season keeper. Set and forget. And now we have Mukiele. You know, Mark Gui, he went and got his assist off the bench. That's fine. But for a 4.2 million, third sub dead spot, much happier with Mukiele. And people say, come on, Nightmare, you said you were going to change. You said you were going to stop with these hits. And I have changed. This is what you're not realising, perhaps. Everyone's like, oh, you've taken another hit. Same old Nightmare, same old story. But it isn't. Because what I actually did all season, I said, no, Sunderland. I don't care how good they are. I'm not getting them in. I don't care how many points these Sunderland players are getting for how cheap they are. I'm not bringing them in. And I ate humble pie. And I put my FPL team before my own selfish needs. Although you could say they're both one and the same. And I brought in Mukiele. I took a hit for Mukiele. And if that is not New Year, New Nightmare, 41 now, was 40 the last time I did one of these videos, now I'm 41. New Year, New Nightmare. The new Nightmare, he will bring in players he doesn't like. He will bring in players if he feels they can benefit his team. He will put his team first. And we're going to get to that in a minute because there's a controversial subject I need to talk about with you. But I brought in Mukiele, so close to 8 points, 4 points. This is what I've been saying about these DEFCON daddies on the bench. This is what the DEFCON daddies are good for. You get these cheap ones in, like your man Joachim Anderson. You know, much maligned by friends of mine, much maligned. He's a real, I can't remember the term, but you know, the dividing line in the community. But 10 points today. Like, you don't need to play these players all the time. You just want them on the bench, like Mukiele today, in case your big hitter like Semenyo misses out. And he comes on, and he doesn't come on with 1 point or 2 points. He comes on with 4 points. And that's enough. That's all you need from your subs. So I'm happy with that. You know, what else has happened today before we're walking past the allotments and there's some sort of shrieking going on. And no, it's not the Parrots haven't seen my overall rank. Although I do wonder how Nick Triggerlips's Parrots team's getting on. But so far this game week, still only Saturday night, I've had Pope 3 points, a good 3 points. You know, I was reading people saying Newcastle were going to get smashed. I was reading people say 3-0, 4-0 to Man City. And I'm thinking, do these people not understand football? I told you all week, Newcastle, last season, they got humbled by Brentford and they went and won 9 on the bounce. Nobody listened. I told you all, Newcastle's issues defensively were because the aura killer, Tino Livramento, was out. Well, he was back today. You know, we knew he was back. We knew Lewis Hall was back. And we knew, I told you, we've got proper fullbacks playing rather than 33-year-old centre-backs at fullback. We've got a chance. This is the different Newcastle. This is the Newcastle that we're going toe-for-toe with Arsenal for these defensive numbers. And I've been telling you about the aura killer Tino Livramento all season long. Like, ever since that cup final when he ended Mo Salah's career. You know, what has Mo Salah done since Tino Livramento went out of position and pocketed him in the cup final? No shots, no chances created the whole match. What has Mo Salah done since then? Nothing, because Tino Livramento killed Salah's aura. And what's he done today? All I read, Jeremy Doku. Oh, you've got to get Doku in. Doku, nobody can stop Doku. Doku this, Doku that. Well, what's happened? Tino Livramento's gone head-to-head with him, and yet another legendary player's aura has been killed by Tino Livramento. Like, there's a reason he's England's best fullback. There's a reason Man City are going to end up paying 100 million for, like, you look at Liverpool, 125 million on that joke Isak. What's he done since? Did I spend that money on Tino Livramento, they wouldn't be losing 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. Fair play to the Forest, like, I mean, they are becoming options. Now we're starting to see the Forest we were all promised at the start of the season. Murillo, goal, Defcons. Are they becoming options? Nottingham Forest, that's for the middle of the week. Then I've got Munoz, 14 points, come on. Beautiful, Senesi. Now, I was considering Dan Burn out next week, but Sven Botman benched. Fabian Schär out of position at left centre-back. That is the Burn spot. Burn's coming straight back in that team next week. Lewis Hall outside him. Tino Livramento on the pitch. Maybe even Kieran Trippier back. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Dan Burn stays. Senesi is becoming an issue because Brentford are terrible. Bournemouth are terrible defensively. It's just goals, goals, goals to terrible teams. So maybe Senesi, but I wouldn't be playing him next week anyway because it'll be big Dan Burn against Everton. So the new nightmare, new year, new nightmare, rolling the transfer. No more hits. I don't think my team will need a hit for the rest of time. Don't even think I'll need one next season. That's how confident in my team I am. Senesi, 3 points, thankfully for that assist. Although he did get booked, which was a bit... He gets a lot of yellow cards, Senesi. Mukiele, 4 points. That'll do. Like I said, Defcon Daddy off the bench, 4 points. Thank you very much. And then I've got up front Haaland and Voltemada. Told you Voltemada would match Haaland. What's happened? I'd call that as well. Come on, Voltemada. As clinical as the most explosive striker in world football. What more can you ask for? But no, I mean, Voltemada might become an issue. But for now, not worried. He had some good chances today. It's all you want from a striker, really, to be getting the opportunities. Well, you want them to put them away. But, yeah, well, I'm not getting rid of Voltemada. I can't get rid of a Newcastle striker before we play Tottenham at home. That's just stupid because Newcastle always murder Tottenham at home. And I told you about Newcastle Man City today. Telling you now, you've got advance warning. Game week 14, Newcastle at home to Spurs. That is a dark green fixture for Newcastle. And then Thiago, 4 points, should have been 13. So close to the ultimate glory. But it's not the end of the world. So I'm on 28 points after the hit so far, which is enough for a green arrow into the top 4 million. 3.91 million as it stands. But I still have Jurrien Timber to play. And, I mean, he could be handy. Spurs, I don't know. I can't really judge that game because we just don't know how Arsenal will adapt. I've just walked in the mud. It's hard when you can't see a goddamn thing. It's a good thing I bought this little light for my camera. It's hard because you just don't know how Arsenal are going to adapt to Gabriel being out. Now, I don't think Gabriel being out is an issue defensively for Arsenal because I don't think he's a very good defender. We all think he's ace because he gets all these FPL points, but I think he's very much carried by Saliba and obviously Calafiori and Timber as well. I just don't think he's very... Every time I see him, he's getting brushed off the ball by the centre forwards. Like, Joe Linton has embarrassed him year after year after year. So he's just such a weak player. I don't think it's going to affect the performance of the Arsenal defence not to have him. Of course, we don't know who they're going to play. That'll be interesting to find out. But who else have I got? Declan Rice. I like Declan Rice. Now, obviously, I don't have Bukayo Saka, and he could be the rank killer. He could be the fly in the ointment of this potential green arrow. But I do think Declan Rice can match him. I feel like if it wasn't for that haul last week, people wouldn't be so hot on Saka. And, you know, he's a good player. Like, there's no denying it. But I don't think he's almost £4 million better of an FPL asset than Declan Rice. So that's why I've got him. You know, I like Declan Rice. I like having him as an option. I think he's going to do me good. Can he do me good tomorrow? That's what we need. And then I've got Monday night, me two big boys, Flying Brian Mbeumo and Bruno Fernandes as captain. Now, we just don't know, do we? We just don't know what's going to happen. All we know is that we have a chance. All we know is that for once there is a chance that the sands of fortune. That is a terrible analogy. I can't think of what I'm trying to say because it's cold. My brain's freezing over. My fingers are all purple, all three of them. You know. But maybe the swings of fortune will fall in my favour on Monday. We need to, because I have taken some kickings in this game, not just this season, all the way back to Gameweek 30 last year. It has just been pain after pain after pain. Like that Thiago today, the penalty goal on the hit, come on. And then he goes and misses one. That is what my FPL experience has been like for about 20 game weeks. You know, I was watching Above Average. People go on about luck in FPL. Say, oh, everyone, luck. I don't know. You know, obviously luck is a factor. But Adam on Above Average, which is an excellent podcast, and I wish I had more time to watch all these podcasts, but there's so many good stuff out there now. And if you're watching mine, I really appreciate it because there is such a lot of competition for your FPL attentions. But Adam said there was these two teams in his mini league, 6 points different on the expected points. 6 points difference on expected points based on how the games have played out. The actual score difference was about 169 points. Expected difference of 6 points, actual difference of 169. And I feel like it wasn't my team because this team that he brought up was on a completely different chip strategy. But I know that feeling, innit? So, but like I say, there is an awful lot of stuff out there competing for our attention nowadays. But my man Nick Triggerlips, he did pass me on to a very interesting video last night, late at night, when I could not decide between Fernandes and Mbeumo as captain. And my man Nick Triggerlips, he goes, you need to watch this. He goes, it's Solio, which obviously, for a man like me, you know, what you're doing, Trigger, you know the stance I've taken about these programmes. You know that my audience would eat me alive if they would rather see me fail on my terms than use these programmes. Triggerlip said, you've got to watch it. You've got to watch it because you won't be doubting Fernandes. Even if you don't use it for anything else, just watch it about Fernandes. So he time-stamped it for when your man Trout, FF_Trout, was talking about his wild card. And there was this really funny moment when he goes, oh, I'm going to triple captain Bruno Fernandes game week 14. Praz goes, I was going to suggest that as a joke, but this is the truth. And then Trout goes, I never joke about Bruno Fernandes. And it was funny, like, it really was. Like, I've not done it justice there yet. It's well worth watching. 58 minutes on Solio's most recent video, really good. But he just gave such a passionate speech about Bruno Fernandes and why he backed him so much. And it just settled my nerves. And yes, of course, he produced the Solio expected points. But I'd already committed to going against Haaland anyway. So this was just a verification Fernandes over Mbeumo, you know, backing up what, I mean, I was already persuaded from my man D Unit, because he reminded me of the good times we've had with differential captain Fernandes in the past, and I thought, let's run it back, baby, let's run it back one more time. And so I looked at it, and this Trout, like, he was a very interesting character. He talked about his approach. He said, I can look at these numbers and I can see Haaland, you know, he's the best. But if I was 200 in the world, I'd go Salah just to take him on. And I thought, that's interesting. Because for all I have ever thought of these programmes, FPL Review, Solio, all you ever think about them is people use them for the answers, like a cheat sheet, you know, like they use them for the answers. But it's funny because, like, my little lad, sometimes he was doing the big test to get into the posh school over the summer, and he was like doing the quizzes, and he was really struggling with them, really struggling with to get his head around the cons. I can't, you know, it's like discern all the different patterns. Which of these is the odd one out? Which is different? Which is, you know, and you don't have to say why, you just have to pick 1 to 4. What is the next in the sequence? And I bring this up because it's interesting, because it was hard to explain to him why. Because, for, like, you know, these sorts of things so often feel like instinct, these tests. So what we ended up doing was just giving him the answers and saying, these are the answers. Figure out why. Why are these the answers? And, you know, he went from, I think he got 30% on his first practice test to the actual test. He got over 80%, and he didn't even answer all the questions. And I just thought, it makes sense, because we weren't asking him to, we weren't saying, here's the questions, figure out the answers. We were saying, here's the answers, figure out why they are correct. And maybe I need to start thinking of these, of Solio a bit like that. Not as in the answer, here is the answer, because obviously the questions on the test are completely different. The challenges in FPL are completely different. These are just expected points. These are projected points, they're not even expected. You know, because they're projected 6 points for Haaland today, but I expected 2 and I was correct. But that's it. What this Trout does, he uses these projections not to find the players to buy, but to find the opportunities to attack. He doesn't use them to tell him who he should have in his team. He uses them to see how he can attack the rest of the field and take them on. And I thought, I like that. I really like that. And then I have to think to myself, you know, I'm asking you to put all this time into me, you know, 20-minute preview video, up to 30-minute reaction video. This one's probably going to go a little bit longer. And then I'm doing another one on Monday night for you, part 2. But I just thought, am I actually letting you down by being this Billy Big Bollocks, I don't need these things? Am I actually missing a glorious opportunity to be a true maverick, to have the answers, and instead of just falling for them like so many of these people do, these, you know, so many of people who use these programs do. Oh, they say to get this player in, player A, and they say to get Joachim Anderson. I'm going to get Joachim Anderson. Why are you getting Joachim Anderson? Well, I don't know. What if I use them? Everyone's getting Joachim Anderson, but what are the opportunities to attack Virgil van Dijk? Which I've done today. You know, it's like, well, I did. I brought in Mookie Haley. He beat Van Dijk. So that was pretty cool. Very weird walking around in the dark, the pitch black. It's actually easier when it's a little bit light to see people. Well, obviously it's easier to see people when it's light, bloody hell. So, but I just mean it's like, I'm actually getting better. Like you've noticed, I actually talk to people on the walk with the camera. I'm not, and I've got a big light, spotlighting me. I may look stupid, but I'm getting more confident and comfortable in the person I am. This may look weird to the rest of the world, but to me it makes sense. It's fun. It makes me a better person. It makes me a better FPL manager, although you wouldn't know that considering, you know, 4 years ago, I was top 10k. You know, last year, 77k, the year before, 150k. Now I'm 4 million, just inside the top 4 million with half the game week to go, you know. So I say I'm a better manager, but I am. The outcomes aren't better, but the strategy is, the thinking processes are. And, you know, maybe what I need, maybe I should give this Solio a chance. Because if this Trout, who, honest to God, he was like, I've never heard of the lad before, and I've watched it and I'm straight onto him. This is fantastic. I want to get him on the pubcast, like. I want to see Trout versus D Unit on the pubcast, because what if these programs are the secret to being the best maverick manager I can be? I don't know. I don't like FPL Review. I will not use FPL Review. But Solio is by the players for the players. You know, Praz, he calls it the unbiased friend. And what was the very first point I made in my very first video this season? If in doubt, copy Praz. And I wasn't talking about what Praz does. I was talking about the mindset. Praz is happy to go against these picks, but he uses them to know what the options are. He uses them to know where he is in the world. He uses them to know the dangers for his team, but also the opportunities. And maybe this is it. Maybe I need to stop being so stubborn. Maybe I need to stop being so arrogant. Maybe it is arrogance. Maybe in the back of my mind, maybe I'm refusing to use these programs as an excuse for failure. I'm man enough to admit that could be a possibility. I am man enough to entertain that thought. Oh, I only finished 500k in the world this year, but I'm better because I didn't use Solio. Oh, I only finished 1 million in the world this year, but I'm better because I made stupid choices just because. Like, maybe I am laying the groundwork for my own failure and using it as a get-out clause for not being good enough. Maybe I'm conning you all. You know, the car's coming past now. You might not hear me now. We test the microphone. Here comes the cars driving past. And maybe them cars driving past is the old me driving away. Is these old thought processes going on the back road, out of town. Maybe I am. I said maybe I'm conning you. And I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm not saying I'm intentionally cheating my audience. But if we are to win FPL, if we are to give ourselves the best chance, surely we have to entertain all possibilities. Surely we owe it to ourselves to give these things a bash, not to give us the answers. but to highlight the opportunities to take the best chances. I don't know. I need to think. I do. I need to think because I feel dirty. I feel dirty seeing it. I feel like I'm betraying you by considering it. I feel like, I don't know, FPL Fran last week, he got in my chat, in me comments, and he's like, let me talk to you about the analytics. Let me talk to you about strategy. Maybe I should. You know, Praz, he's the Solio star boy. Maybe I should give Praz the opportunity to talk me into it. Maybe they don't need to do anything because Nick Triggerlips is already weaving his magic. I don't know. But it's something I am considering. Because I might get back up the ranks. I might not. I feel like if I can get into the top 1 million from here, good going. You know, I'm still 4 million after halfway through game week 12. It's a big ask. But what if we turn this season? What if this season becomes a season where we lose our arrogance, where our ego is dismissed and we accept that we cannot beat everything by doing it our way? We can't beat 12.5, 13, 14 million players through sheer instinct. I mean, it feels stupid to even say it when you say it out loud, doesn't it? You know, you look at football teams, you don't have your Matt Letizier's anymore, you don't have your David Ginolas, but you do have your Lamine Yamals, you do have your Messis. And what do? Everything it takes to be the best they can be. They've got the trickery, but they've got the data, they've got the sports science. And maybe that's what I need. I don't know. I feel like I'm cheating you. I'm not committing to it. I'm not committing. That Solio is a subscription-based model anyway. I'm not committing to it, but I wanted to talk it through because I am open to the idea. But I don't need it today because Solio told me that Erling Haaland was getting 6 points and I said he was getting none, 2. And he got 2 points. And my beloved Newcastle have just taken Man City to the cleaners. The aura killer Tino Livramento has pocketed another 2 huge names. We have got the Mukiele. We've become renewed, and Mukiele's got us 4 points. Senesi's got us the assist. Thiago was so close to propelling us up these ranks. And now at the halfway stage of game week 12, we still have our captain to come. Monday night, first of all, tomorrow, we have got Declan Rice and Jurriën Timber. Can we beat Bukayo Saka with Declan Rice? Who knows? And I'm saying we, I mean me, obviously, but I feel like we're in this together. If you're still watching at this stage, then you're in for a penny, in for a pound. And then Monday night, the big night, Brian Mbeumo and captain Bruno Fernandes. Could this be the redemption? Game week 2, a disaster. Game week 12, the same strategy. And in front of that 2 is the number 1. Is this the week where it all clicks? Who knows? I'll be back on Monday night, hopefully, with a video. That's the intention. A quick video on Monday night, much quicker than this one because a lot of this has been waylaid by the Solio talk. We've got a green arrow. We've taken the hit and broke even. The hit from last week for Munoz has paid off spectacularly. And now we captained against Haaland. And Haaland has blanked. And now, at last, the chance is there. Can Bruno Fernandes take it? We will see on Monday night.